I'm Fiera Luna, and I play games on the internet. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Hello? Game, hello? Come on. Show the right thing. Oh, why does it do this when I'm just trying to stream? Hang on. I can do this. I can do this. I can make it work. Nope. Hello? Oh no. You guys, my Switch is on. That's the sad thing. Okay, I have a plan. Terrible plan. No, it's the OBS. Capture card's working fine. I can see it's a little light lit. And Razor sees it. It's OBS causing the trouble today. So, we're gonna fix it by my being a monster. Come on. I believe in myself. Oh no! Why is it doing this? are you doing this? Oh no, it's covered me up. Nope, it hates it. Windows Update ruined my life today, apparently. Chat, I promise, we're gonna get this to work. We're gonna make it work. Hello? Oh my gosh. Windows continues to ruin me. Okay, I got a plan. I have a plan. Okay. Razor knows that it's here. I've got a plan. I don't know why it's doing this. If it does this too much more, I will play a more different game. In the meantime, welcome in, Rice. Hi, Val. Hi, Rice. Welcome to OBS ruining my life. Wants me to be sad. I got a plan. When in doubt. Once I get this thing up and running properly. Nope, I think it's OBS being mean. Usually I can just change it and then change it back and it's fine. Okay. Oops, too far. There we go. We got it. Probably. Game! Congratulations, everybody. We did it. That was very difficult. I'm very small. And I gotta scoot around a lot. Aww. Alright, let me catch up with chat. Oh, hi, Sammy. Hi, Sam. Welcome in. I'm glad the multiplayer inscription thing's working good. Chat will get too thirsty. They will. That's why I had to go refill my water. Average OBS experience. It's okay. It's just the Windows Update ruining my life. I went back and watched yesterday's VOD and got kind of bummed that I wasn't there for more of it. That's okay. It happens sometimes. That's why the VODs are there. We do usually play Inscription on Friday, but I might change it because darn, y'all showed up for Inscription on Saturday. A lot of yous. Side note. Welcome in, Quill. Oh! Oh, yes, I saw Nicolini was playing through the second one of these. I'm playing through both of them because chat's never seen either one. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad y'all like Inscription. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite games. Despite its spooky spookiness, like, I like the card battler. It's a good card battler. That's true. An hour and 30 minutes, and you were just like, done. Yes, let's go. I want to play these after seeing Ace Attorney Investigations 2 on Nico's stream. Yes! Good. You should. They're really good. Okay, so we are on to the point with Little Thief where we can examine these things. It's the silhouette of the killer with his gun at the ready. Kay, is it not possible to recreate the face of the killer? Well, I can't exactly input what we don't know into Little Thief. She has a point. According to the testimony, the victim fell to the ground here. That's right, but if that's the case, then we've already found our first contradiction. Huh? What? Where? If this is the real scene of the crime, there's something missing that should be here. Where's the one that shows me... Can I just use this? I feel like I can just use this. This is the contradiction. Eh? Is something wrong with my recreation? If this is the real scene of the crime, something specific should be here. I'm glad Inscription's become your comfort game. The sound design for Inscription is incredible. 10 out of 10. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I really like the theme for the Trapper. Like, a lot of the best music work in Inscription for me is in the opening arc. Like, the theme for the Trapper, 10 out of 10. Leshy knows how to be a DM. Leshy knows what's what. Poe is a bad DM. Like, just saying, Poe is a bad DM. He feels like he's a little too new at it and hasn't quite got the vibe for how to DM things. Leshy's out there with, like, 600 intricately carved figurines, an entire world built up, and is just like, hi, I made this. It's true. Poe's like, I have an incredible piece of gameplay here. And you're like, what's the story like? And Poe goes, ... story. Yeah. It has... Do you need one? What's the story? Yeah, fight 4 things, do the thing. Yeah, let's go. Poe's the kind of person who I feel like would play Pokemon, but for the stats. Whereas Leshy's the kind of person who would be carefully crafting the Pokemon trainer Sona and is like, okay, I know that it's meta to be using a particular loadout here, but my trainer is a ghost trainer and rather, I suppose he'd be grass dark. My trainer is a grass dark trainer and therefore only uses grass and dark and sometimes ghost. And that's why they're divorced. Oops, all ratata. Ratata, ratata, I can't. Unless she does themed Nuzlocke challenges. Yes! Ooh, I should do a Nuzlocke. No, I can't do a Nuzlocke. I care too well about all my creatures. So if one of them dies, I'm just like, no, come back to me. And then I get sad. I should play Monster Sanctuary for you guys on stream. I'm running two Monster Sanctuaries on YouTube. One's a randomizer and the other one is a vanilla playthrough. But I should play Monster Sanctuary for you guys on stream. It's like Pokemon, but imagine if Pokemon were all triple battles. I don't know how to explain. Just trust me that it's a really good game. It's a Metroidvania, monster collector and battler, but like not like what you're expecting. It's done in the old SNES style. And for those of you that are tired of having the rug pulled out from under you and having the cute happy thing be frustrating and awful and secretly everything is the worst that's ever been, this is not that game. This game has one twist, and if you've played a game like this before, you're gonna look at it and be like, I see. And you're going to see it coming from 600 miles away. But, like, even though you know that it's there, you're just like, actually, that was really good and relevant to the story. There's also DLC called The Forgotten World that has dinosaurs in it. I love dinosaurs. Fantasy dinosaurs. It's so much fun. Fantasy dinosaurs and lore, if you're into the lore. If you're here for really complicated gameplay, and if you've ever heard of Ceruleum Ultimate, the folks who make Ceruleum Ultimate and the folks who make Monster Sanctuary both know each other and work closely together. So Virtog of Ceruleum Ultimate is a monster in Monster Sanctuary, and the not a gremlin, the Yogwai. Yeah, the Yogwai is a monster in Ceruleum Ultimate. So there's that. There is so much lore in Monster Sanctuary. It's such an interesting world. I love the way that I have a Splatoon document that's 30 pages long. Yeah, that sounds like Splatoon. Monster Sanctuary has really... You can play a really simple game, or you can get some really wild and complicated strategies out there. I am big on hitting stuff really hard until it stops being alive. Huji, on the other hand, is really big on crafting these absolutely perfect, beautiful strategies, where 600 things happen, but all at once, and then you're like, how did that happen to me? I hit you with a big hammer and almost killed you, and you get him going, almost isn't dead yet. And then, like, every single effect on his team goes off. They all heal to full, and you've got 7 billion different little debuffs on you, and you chip to death, and you're like, how? I hit him once. Only overkill! Yay! Anyway, Monster Sanctuary is great. It's got a Pokedex for it. The Pokedex is also really well done. Or, well, Monster Journal. It's also really well done. I love the game a lot. I'm going to play the game for you guys at some point. I've decided it because I won't shut up about it. I've spent like 5 minutes going on about it. So you're going to get to see the game live. I don't know when. Oh my gosh. We're doing it. Monster Journal, big quotes. It's actually a thing that you get over the course of the game. They do not give it to you instantly. This is zero plot spoilers because it's in the opening creation of a character things. There are 4 spectral keepers and you are one of them, so you get a special magic monster that's cool. And as your starter. And there's girl character, there's slightly older boy rival character, and there's Coke Bottle Glasses Nerd. And Coke Bottle Glasses Nerd gives you the Monster Journal a little while later because he's a nerd. Condi Firebrand is dual gun. Yes, it is. It is dual pistol. Oops, all gun. That is... Condi Firebrand is what I would make Flint. Because he is a detective. Anyway, I promise it's a really good game. What happened after Wright won the trial with Maya? Did Francisca whip him to death? She tried. He did pass out. She whipped the heck out of him. But he's okay. He's alive. Right, we were playing a more different game, not Monster Sanctuary. Oh no. If you think back, how did we deduce that the other crime scene was not the real one? Oh, I get what's missing now. There's no blood on the ground here either, right? Right. The fact that there is no blood here casts doubt on the witness's testimony. Edgepoo, how can you doubt me like that? Are you calling me a liar? I know what I saw, and I saw the victim get shot down. You know, I don't think she's lying, Mr. Edgeworth. To be honest, I can't think of a reason why she would lie to me. In that case, maybe there is another explanation for the distinct lack of blood. Okay, is there anything else here I need to examine, or are we... Oh. It looks like they broke the stage down. Well, guess we play in Monster Sanctuary now. Not tonight, but we will. I love Monster Sanctuary a lot, you guys. And yes, you are welcome to play Morcantha tonight. It'll be an adventure. Also, my usual thing, if any of you ever want to try Guild Wars 2, it is a 12-year-old game. I promise your computer will probably be able to run it. The game still has commentary on, like, how to run it on Windows 98, I'm pretty sure. Wait, do you also, like, give different voices to each of the characters? Yes, I do. I on purpose give different voices to each of the characters because of 2 reasons. I know, one, that some people are listening to to this and not necessarily watching the visuals. And the second thing that I know is that it's easier to keep track of what's going on by giving everybody a fun, different voice. And the third thing is, I'm a theater nerd! I gotta practice accents somehow! Everybody gets a fun voice! Val can attest to the fact that I even have robot voice for Poe! Guild Wars 2 is a pretty great time. I'm not biased. Nope. Nope. Not at all. I heard y'all talking about it in yesterday's VOD. Haven't heard of it before. It's an MMO. The entire base game is free because, once again, 12 years old. The entire base game is free. You are not locked out of doing anything except you can't whisper people who aren't in party with you. But to be fair, that's to prevent spammers. Gold spammers are a real thing and a real annoying thing. Or gold sellers, rather, are a real thing and they're really annoying. It's a lot of fun. I've played it for 9 years. I played Guild Wars 1 for a long, long time. Yeah! My semi-potato laptop may chug a little bit when running Guild Wars 2, but it definitely can. Exactly! Yeah, and you have access to everything in the game. You don't have to, like... The only reason that the game will let you give it money, if you're on the free version, is to buy an expansion pack. That's literally it. And X-Packs come usually with 4 new maps and an entire story to go through. So, like, they also come with new classes and fun new skins and stuff. But if you want the skins from places like that, you can still get them on the trading post. So even if you don't have, like, Heart of Thorns, you can still get some of the skins from it. Or Cantha. Yes, the most recent one has cats! We love the cat! The Warclaw's my favorite mount. I can ride around on a silly cat! It's vast. It's quickly replacing Raptor as the easiest thing to get on. Although I have Skyscale, so my mount can fly. Also, the game is very respectful of your time. Oh, also, Halloween is on Tuesday for the game. On the 15th, it is Halloween time, and it is so easy to level up your character at Halloween. There's something called the Labyrinth, and what you do is you go into the Labyrinth, you find someone who's tagged up to run a Labyrinth, you get into the blob of people running around with that person, you are automatically upscaled while you're in the Labyrinth to level 80, so you have level 80 stats while you're there, but the game still keeps track of your experience. So even if you're level 1 or 2 and you rock up inside the Labyrinth, you can level straight to 80 really quickly because you're getting experience from everything that you tag. So anything you even slightly hit, you are getting experience from, no matter who kills it. You also get all the loot from that, and the treat bags you can either sell on the trading post for a whole bunch of money, or you can open them for a chance at getting something that is worth a whole bunch of money. Players love infusions. Infusions are little things that we jam into our armor, and they make us do things like glow, or light up in fun colors, or have a swarm of bats fluttering around us. There's a whole... I know nothing about infusions. Of course not! Of course you wouldn't know anything about infusions! Yeah, it's all cosmetic. Though, that said, some infusions do come with a particular stat, but it's only necessary if you're doing fractals. Fractal dungeons require you... Certain levels of fractal dungeons require you to have agony resistance, because in order to make things a little bit more difficult, there are some things that'll just do pulsing damage you can't remove. And that's agony! The joke is that Rice is a very, very good and experienced Guild Wars 2 player. That's true! That is true facts! I know nothing about infusions. Fractal God is a title that you get from doing so many fractals. I think I'm still only on, like, the first layer of those fractal titles. And I play a lot. I also spend all my money on things. Hey, we explained the joke for YouTube. Yeah, every time I get money in my pocket, something happens to it. That something is a Gen 1 legendary. That's what happens. Actually, most recently, that something was a blissful skirt and shoes, for reasons. Listen, I can't be trusted. Oh yeah, that's right. You can trade gold in for gems, which is the paid currency. Welcome in, Mr. Mozzie! Scary ambience.mp3, exactly. I'm sorry I saw you play that before, but I was so caught up talking about Monster Sanctuary or whatever else. My teacher got Fractal Goddess, so I had to do it too. Yes, good. Huji's got Fractal God, I think. And I am slowly working my way up to it. I have my one singular gacha that I spend on. Exactly. Oh, no! Oh, no. I'm afeared. It's Nosk. I can hear him in my mind. I guess that means they're done for the day. Or maybe it's because a different show is scheduled to start its run tomorrow. I have a feeling... I have a feeling that this thing and that thing go, perhaps, together. But maybe... Wait. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Guys, I'm crazy. There's no blood anywhere for this guy. Didn't... What? Stage is packed up. Is there anything else down here that I need to examine? A god of nothingness! I have never heard of Ensemble Stars. What's it about? I know I must be... Wait, can I connect these two things then? Was the victim in a costume? Is that enough? Will that work? I feel like maybe it will. Yeah! Is it not possible that the victim was wearing a costume? It's a kind of wild story. A bunch of boys training to be idols and perform, but there's so much drama. I have played Bang Dream and Project Sakai, or whatever the Miku game is in English. The Miku game is called something else in English. It's like Colorful Stage? Yeah, Colorful Stage! I remembered! I have played both of those games. This is an accurate description of both of them. Except it's a bunch of girls instead. They're training to be idols. I do love a game like that. Unfortunately, my phone tends to overheat when I try to play rhythm games for some reason. Partially because I sit down to play them and then it's like 6 years. Don't really know how to explain. It's been so long since I read the wiki. I get it. So you really think that Mr. Deacon was one of the kidnappers? Wait, wrong person. Dang it. We'll get there. So you really think that Mr. Deacon was one of the kidnappers? I think we can reasonably assume there is a very good chance that he was. And that if he was shot while he was inside one of those stolen costumes... Then Mr. Deacon's blood would be inside the costume instead of on the ground! Precisely. Now if only we could prove that the victim was wearing a costume. You'd think it'd be pretty easy if we could find some footprints. But the problem is finding them, since there don't seem to be any around. Footprints, huh? I wonder how we can go about finding some of those. Emma! This is amazing! Just feel the power of science! Emma, about that method you were talking about for finding footprints. Ah, finally! My expert knowledge in forensics is needed! Yes, well...
Can you detect and trace even partial footprints?
I do love a main antagonist. Pierre, I need to defend him because the Mr. Mozzie said I committed impersonation. Oh, you need a defense attorney. Oh, we better get Phoenix right on the line. And is pretty much directly responsible for several deaths. That sounds right.
Leave it to me. My cutting-edge detection kit can find anything.
Very well.
And if you could please analyze the footprints in this area.
Okay, stand back now and witness the power of science at work.
Hey, I found something. Look right here.
I don't see anything.
Oh, that's right. Here, put on these special glasses. Mr. Edgeworth? These footprints were definitely left by a badger costume.
Judging by the way the prints are layered, those seems to be the newest.
Then we can conclude that the victim was definitely wearing a costume at the time.
Okay, in that case, I'll update Little Thief's simulation parameters. I can't wait to see what we find out from this new info. I love Kay.
So the victim was wearing a costume when he died.
And with that, we should be one step closer to the truth, right?
I see the recreation has changed in accordance with the new information. We may be closer, but now something else has caught my attention.
What do you want?
Your testimony, naturally. I'd like to hear it one more time, if you please.
Oh, Wendy Oldbag. I love me a messed up freak in media. I understand because Thousand Year Blood War is going on, and I am just patiently waiting for them to let Eisen out of that chair. Let me have this man. Let me have him out of that chair. I want to see him get to do cool stuff. Have you seen this man? He's great. He's going to be so upset that someone else rolled up and was like, your plan? Yeah? Alright. I'm gonna do it. But actually succeed. I'm so excited. He's gonna be so mad. Oh, it's great. It's like I could fix him, but I don't want to. You could fix him. I could make him worse. I could make him worse. Though I can fix him as the way I am with Dimitri. Fire Emblem 3 Houses Dimitri. I'm just like, I could fix him. It's fine. He's fine. He's a good boy. He's good and strong and I like him. Someone made a post saying Team Night with a picture of Chris and Deltarune above on Splatoon. Yeah, that sounds right. I am here for Team Wizard or Mage or whatever. Yeah, Dimitri's great. I am afeared to play 3 Houses online, like for all of you, because I love every one of the Blue Lions. So here's the thing: if I played it, I would want to play Golden Deer because I think Golden Deer get the most sort of plot. Whereas Dimitri and Edelgard are too busy fighting each other to care about the greater world around. But because they obviously can't get along. But Claude, on the other hand, at least in 3 Houses, has this situation where who cares about any of that? He's here for a united Fodlan. Yes, Val, you will love Golden Deer. You'll love Golden Deer because in Golden Deer we have Hilda. Yeah, Golden Deer. So here's the thing about Golden Deer. I would say if you're going to play Golden Deer first. I played through Blue Lions first because I knew I would like them all the best.
Every single one of them is best character. And honorary Blue Lion Marianne, who I keep forgetting is in Golden Deer. Oh yeah, Val, you're gonna love Marianne. Cowards should have made her a beast unit, and they didn't, because they didn't put beast units in this game. Cowards! Put beast units in 3 houses. You could have done it. I would have been thrilled. You keep teasing at it. You keep being like, that's a thing. And then you keep not doing it. Anyway, when I played through with Blue Lions, Mercedes decided who lived and who died. I gave her such strong magic that she's just like, she waltzed out onto a battlefield and she's like, you, stop. And I love that for her. And because I had the DLC for the Ashen Wolves and stuff, that meant I also had the Chalice. So I gave Battalion Vantage to Dimitri, and I gave him that Chalice that lets him attack from like 5 squares away or something nonsense. And anyway, then Dimitri decided who lived and who died on the battlefield. 0 people survived Dimitri! 0 people can get past Battalion Vantage Dimitri, and if they did, they waltzed directly into my Byleth, and I was like, hi. So, I see you've wandered past the Holy King and come here. Hello. Goodbye. You just got stumped. It was beautiful. Anyway, Val, you're gonna love Marianne, I promise. Marianne and Hilda, you'll like the Golden Deer best. Anyway, have fun! Yes, it's been a delight! There will be VODs tomorrow, you guys know that. Back to whatever I was doing here. Playing a more different game while I shill for my other ones. That I love dearly. We did play through Awakening on this channel. I love Awakening because I'm here for Crom. We gotta have Crom with us. Alright, let's go. I came to this stadium to take a short break. As I was resting, I happened to glance over and I saw 2 men facing each other in that area. Suddenly, there was a loud gunshot and the person who was shot fell to the ground. It was a very terrifying experience, let me tell you. So, does that mean that Miss Oldbag's testimony has a contradiction in it? Yes, and I believe our best course of action is to compare it with your recreation. See, I just knew Little Thief would be of help. Now let's see if we can pull more info from Miss Oldbag to put in the recreation. For that, we must first find the contradiction in her testimony. I came to this stadium to take a short break. As I was resting, I happened to glance over and I saw 2 men facing each other in that area. I don't know if you did. I feel like, I feel like, no, you didn't. Two men. How did you know the gender of the 2 people involved? Seeing as how the victim was wearing a costume at the time. Ah! Furthermore, I have another matter I'd like to inquire about. I'd very much like to know why you failed to mention the costume in your testimony? Wah! I'm beginning to doubt if you really witnessed the murder at all. But I'm telling you, I really did see it. I saw it with my very own eyes. From a seat in the 2nd tier. The 2nd tier? Hey, didn't you say you saw it right in front of you earlier? That was, you know, I was using the phrase in the metaphorical sense. I see our witness still has a screw loose, in a metaphorical sense. The cushy seats in the 2nd tier are reserved for hotshot VIPs. Which is exactly why I go up there every now and again to take a nap. I can't see how you could have gotten a good look from there. It's so high up. Were you able to see even the victim's costume from way up there? Well, I know I saw 2 people. but I couldn't actually see what they looked like because they were in the stage of shadow. My eyesight isn't what it used to be, you know? Not like when I was young. People used to call me, etc., etc. I'm talking a lot about how good I was with eyes. Let's return to our investigation, shall we, Kay?
You got it! Oh yeah, that reminds me. Tuesday stream's gonna start early because I'm gonna do a Halloween run. If you guys want to come along for Labyrinth, you are welcome to. Bring your new characters, bring your old characters, I don't care. Bring your mounts if you got them. We will not be using mounts because I don't care about that. But bring your mounts if you got them. You know the drill. Stick on the pin and let me open the doors. Mint is coming along with me because he's the hero that I need. So on Tuesday we're starting at like 6 o'clock. Yeah, so 6 o'clock Atlantic, which is 5 Eastern, and so on and so forth. Sorry, Val, I know you'll be in school, but you'll be along eventually. Someone else might get first tomorrow. What will we do then? Don't worry. That's the one day a year. The one day a year that someone else might get the thing. It'll probably be Rice if I had to guess. We don't know. Could be anything. Could be anyone. Alright, back to examining things.
This new silhouette of the victim is in a costume.
The silhouettes can change depending on the information I input. But Little Thief can recreate more than just people. So investigate away. We may even find more info with which to make a more accurate sim.
Alright, sounds like a plan. Oh, why can't we talk to Emma again?
This is amazing. Just feel the power of science.
Thanks to you, I'm able to proceed with my investigation once again. Thank you.
It was nothing. I'm just glad that science and I could be of service. Pretty amazing how you could see footprints. So what's the secret behind that thing?
Oh, you want to know? Here, you can read the manual.
Aha! Very interesting. So if I do this, I can avoid leaving footprints.
She can't seriously be trying to use the information to her advantage as a thief. Wait.
We only have 2 pieces of logic. Can we smush them together and see if it works? Okay. Is Kay gonna be a permanent sidekick? Yeah, actually. I think. It's been a long time since I've played this game.
If that woman's testimony is to be believed, the murder occurred before the stage was broken down.
Do you want me to input that bit of information into Little Thief?
Yes, if you please.
Okay! There's a problem here. Guys, I think there's a problem here. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I think there's a problem here. And I think this accounts for what the issue is, too, with the corpse. Because we saw that he was shot from, like, above, and then the bullet went out. The bullet went out his back at the bottom. So I think there might just be a little bit of a problem here. I don't know what it could be, though. I'm sorry. For a moment, I wanted to go Blue's Clues or Dora the Explorer. Can you help me solve the... or Amanda the Adventurer. Can you help me solve the problem, chat? But I think we all know what's wrong.
There is clearly
a contradiction here.
Please stop stealing my lines.
Oh, come on. It wasn't that hard to see it coming, even for a layman like me.
I suppose. In any case, it's not possible for the killer to have stood here in that way. because there was a very real stage set up in this spot at the time.
Yeesh, I told you, I got it. Do you feel the need to explain everything?
Yes, well, in any case, we still need to resolve this unusual situation.
Well, isn't it obvious? The killer was on top of the stage, naturally. Right, Miss Oldbag?
Yes, I remember now. The killer was standing on top of the stage.
See? Now let me update the information in the simulation. And that makes sense with the angle of the bullet.
Well, 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 what have we here? A bunch of hooligans running amok, I see.
We're gonna get kicked out again.
Agent Lang, how nice of you to join us. Well, I can't have you going around messing up my crime scenes. Agent Lang, we've discovered that the real scene of the murder was here in the stadium. I see. Thanks. For what? I'm just trying to show you my appreciation for all the time you saved me. Who knew that such a strange little toy could recreate a crime scene like that?
Little Thief is not a toy.
You too.
Sir!
And there you have it. You see? Big boys like me don't need silly toys, little girl. Now this is a recreation. So what? Do you still intend to assert that Officer Meekins is the killer? Of course! Even knowing that the crime took place here doesn't let him off the hook. This is the real scene of the crime. Officer Meekins lay in wait for the victim on top of the stage, and when the victim finally showed, he shot him from on high. That's the truth your little recreation showed.
No, it didn't show anybody's face, my man. Like, not even a little bit. Oh, wait. Well, we'll see, we'll see.
How far will you go to accuse Officer Meekins of the crime? Oh, he's the most likely suspect we've got, especially given the situation with his gun.
Well, even if he is the killer, at least my recreation was on the mark.
You see? Thank you for understanding, my little crow girl.
I'm not some common crow. I'm the Yatagarasu, the Raven of Legend.
Unfortunately, your conclusion has yet to be tested, so let's see how well it holds up.
Yeah, that's true. We know that's the real scene of the crime. Officer Meekins lay in wait. Okay, fair. I want to check something. Oliver Deacon. Preliminary findings indicate a loss of blood resulting from a gunshot wound. Entry point, lower right abdomen. Exit point, right shoulder. Oh, that's the other way around. That can't be right. Because I thought they shot down, but that can't be right. Edgeworth, you're so smarmy. I love it.
I'm terribly sorry, Agent Lang. I should have warned you that a recreation is incomplete. You cut in quite unexpectedly, after all. What's that supposed to mean? You said that the victim was shot by the killer from up above, correct? I hate to break it to you, but that's not possible.
Huh? Why not?
Recall Mr. Deacon's body, specifically where the gunshot wounds were located.
Actually, I didn't get that good of a look.
Oh, well then. The bullet entered Mr. Deacon in his abdominal region and exited his right shoulder. This is more consistent with an angled shot from beneath the victim.
Then...
Yes, our recreation had the victim being shot at an angle from above.
Welcome in, Raymond! We're playing Ace Attorney Investigations. This is the first one of these two games. A clear contradiction.
You're discounting your own conclusions? No. This one point is the only flaw. This was the mistaken parameter in our recreation. Ooh.
We know where the witness was. We know where the stage is. Does that mean that the killer was on the stage and the victim was on the... or the other way around? Yeah, the victim must be on the stage then, but that doesn't make sense with Oldbag's... well, whatever, Oldbag couldn't see nothing anyways. Right.
Yes, the locations of the killer and the victim were wrong. Ah, I get it. I see what you're trying to say. I believe the killer and the victim were standing opposite to what we initially thought. It was the victim who was on top of the stage as he was being shot by the killer.
It's Oldbag. Who listens to her? I did. I had to. She talks so much.
If this is what happened, it also explained the positioning of the gunshot wounds.
But then what about the footprints?
Since footprints don't lie, we can assume then that the killer also wore a costume.
Okay, I'll try using that data instead.
Judging by the fact that both the killer and the victim were wearing costumes, I'd say it was a killing between the two kidnappers. That would be the most natural conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Agent Lang? Humph! Well done, Mr. Prosecutor. But that alone doesn't clear Officer Meekins of the crime.
He was in costume too.
I ask that you take another good look at the tire marks over there. The 3 marks are indicative of the Blue Badger mobile. That story Officer Meekins told about that shop on wheels getting stolen was just a lie. He drove the Blue Badger mobile here and committed the murder. Then he used the car to move the body to the garage in the Wild Wild West area.
I don't think that's true. Are you exhausted? Are you eepy? Do you need to be eeping? You could eep. You haven't got to. No. Okay. Never. Well, some people need to eep. I am an octopus. Eeping is something I do for like an hour. It's not very long. But that's what you do when you don't live very long. You only live a whole year. I have been informed that I have lived more than a whole year, and that is very strange and weird for an octopus. But I promise I am a normal octopus. Nothing weird about me except the part where I'm talking. Totally normal octopus. Staff says with a tortoise's lifespan, maybe. How long do tortoises live? Tortoises. How many? That's too many. That's so many years. Staff has informed me tortoises live upwards of 200 years. That's so many. So many! How they live that long? No, I didn't want a real answer. What is that? I didn't want a real answer. I don't want one anyway. It's okay. You don't have to tell me. I know I asked. Okay. Feisty staff today. It is Thanksgiving weekend. But, you see, there still has to be somebody here with me, or else I will get up to hijinks and shenanigans and staff doesn't like it when I get up to those things. So there has to be somebody here with me. And Sunday is the day that most people have Thanksgiving dinner, even though they have the day off on Monday. So yeah, but you can't watch over me by yourself. It's the rules. There's always at least 2 people in here with me. That's how it works. If staff's not here, then security is. And there's always at least 2 of them. Oh, oopsie doodle. So the way it works is like this. There's always at least 2 staff. Sometimes there's like 4. But there's always at least 2. And they work for 8 many hours. They work for 8 many hours. And the first hour is switch over. And the last hour is switch over. And then there's 4 whole people in here. Security does the same thing.
You believe he moved the body with the car? That's right. It was Officer Meekins himself who pointed us to the way he did it. The 3 tired tread marks are very telling. However, is the Blue Badger Mobile the only thing capable of creating such a pattern?
No! There's literally a car right here. There's literally a car right here. Do I have that? There's literally a bunch of other parking places. It can't have been the Blue Badger Mobile. We already used that. It wasn't anything there. I mean, they are indicative of the Blue Badger Mobile, but I'm just gonna try presenting the Badger Mobile. Like, straight up.
Sorry, Agent Lang, but that's an impossible tale. And why is that? Those tire marks could not have been left by Officer Meekins' Blue Badger Mobile. One look at the car would have told you so.
There's no mud on the tires.
Take a good look at the tires. There's not a single dollop of mud to be found on it. If this car had come to the backstage area and left those tire tracks, then the lack of mud on these tires stands out as a very peculiar indeed. Well, then how do you explain the tire tracks, genius?
Hey, I've got it. What about Miss Oldbag's Pink Badger Mobile?
Don't be ridiculous. I was sleeping the entire time in the second-tier seats. Indeed, I believe we could rule out her own related to the crime.
Body pink.
However, there is yet one more roving store, as I recall.
Oh, you mean the Proto Badger?
That's right. There was one more parking space inside that garage. And it proves the existence of a Proto Badger Mobile.
Yeah, let's go! Alright, we hydrate us chat to me ons. Whoop. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and a big stretch. Big stretch. Okay. I have been on adventures all day. So, let's see what else we will do. No, you know what? We will do high knees. Yeah. Okay. If you have knees, this is great. But I don't have bones, as we have established. That's scary. I saw an octopus with bones. It was very frightened. I don't mind the octopus skeleton, because that's obviously just a necromancer having too much fun. But then somebody put the flesh all over it to make it, like, explain what it would be like, and I was very scared. He was very good, though. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have no food? Oh, no. I had lots of food. Staff let me have soup dumplings. I didn't know that soup dumplings exploded. So when they exploded in my mouth like a savory fruit gusher, I was very confused. But I liked it. Staff made fun because it exploded all over because I'm about the same size as the dumpling. So it exploded all over and they were like, ha! Followed by many jokes about it being time for octopus soup. I am not an octopus soup. But now I want takoyaki.
Agent Lang, I suggest you find this proto-badgermobile post-haste. There must still be some sort of incriminating evidence in it.
Hey, did you hear something? Help.
Help me.
Are you alright?
Well, this is something. Looks like we found our kidnapping victim. Where were you all this time?
Wild West. With kidnappers.
He was in the room next to the one I was held in. Ran away using underground. And got lost. The kidnappers. What is it? I can't understand what you're trying to say. The kidnappers escaped. Wearing costumes. Did you see the faces of your kidnappers?
No. I didn't see their faces, but... 2. One was a woman.
A woman? Quite an important piece of testimony. Hey, what are you guys doing? Stop standing there and get your cops on this already. I'll even let you guys have what the kid said just now. Consider it a gift. Now, are you going to get out of my crime scene, or am I going to have to get rough? Again?
You're nothing but a big bully! Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go!
Oh, no, 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 no. Not you. You're a very important witness for my case. I'm not about to let you get away that easily. Don't count on me to testify, because I won't. Not for you. That's right. I won't either. You hear me, young whippersnapper? Hey, calm down. There's no need for all this hostility. I just want to take a statement from each of you. I'm not going to rough either of you up. I give you my word. Come now, fair maidens. What do you say? Will you cooperate? Fair maidens? My, you little rascal. You sure you know your way into a woman's heart? Longji says, the passage of time is but a fleeting moment, and a lady is young forever. Huh. Trying to outdo my edgy-poo with your fancy schmancy sayings. Let's get this over with. So we're clear, I'm only interested in giving you my statement. Sure, just as soon as Mr. Prosecutor leaves us be.
Mr. Edgeworth!
Ha, statement. Oh, they'll be there for years with her. I don't think he knows what he's getting into. Okay, so you know what it's time for? It's time for the octopi to be able to ride around on the good staff.
I would love to ride around on good staff. Good staff is usually here on Friday. She's usually here on Friday nights. I get up to some shenanigans sometimes. Sometimes she just shows up so that I can go on adventure. And then I sneak out. She's the one I'm dressing as for Halloween. It's gonna be really fun. We've been kicked out again. Looks like we got the boot again.
With Lance safe, the focus of the investigation will shift solely onto the murder.
You mean the infighting between the kidnappers?
Yes, and also the identity of the remaining kidnapper. Miles, my boy. Tell me it's true. Tell me you've really found my boy. Yes, Mr. Amano, we found him earlier in the stadium.
Then my little Lance is unhurt?
He's not exactly the picture of perfect health, but his life is not in danger. He's being questioned right now by Agent Lang.
Poor Lance! It must have been so horrible for him, locked up like a... I like good stuff. She can stay. Yeah! She can't live in the aquarium, though. Anyway, I would like to say that if Lance was held in the room next to us, he wasn't there when we got there, so he either escaped before we got there, or whatever. Oh! The Magnus books, the Magnus TTRPG books, they're print. They're a book now, on paper and everything. I'm going to see if any of the other rewards are ready, because shipping costs are obnoxious to ship overseas. And it would have to ship to me from overseas. But if the rest of that stuff is ready, that means that I'm going to set up an invitational for you guys. For in case you want to play the game. Can I come? Yes, it's invitational, Val. I will get a little... I am not accustomed to running the cipher system. I have played in the cipher system. I am not accustomed to it. So, you guys will have to put up with me also kind of struggling a little. And that's okay. Like, I know you're new to all things TTRPG. You played fine in Fabula. You did fine with that. It's a very simple system, but so is the cipher system. It's one of those very simple and fun to play systems that is, how to put it, it's very easy to sort of pick up. But when you kind of, and like if you get really good with it, you can do some wild stuff. Also, how are you with writing things? Because I already know the answer to that question. The way the cipher system works is that you make a sentence about your character. Wait, you remember in Fabula where we made identities? Where you sit down and you go, you're a rebellious princess from a faraway kingdom, so you can call on your identity at any time? The cipher system works like that, except that sentence informs your stats. It's cool. You'll see. It's really cool. It's fun. I promise. Okay. Anyway, I think, if you want to know what I think Lance ran away from home and concocted this kidnapping scheme. I think there were no kidnappers. I think it was him and the butler. Or alternatively, I think it was him and Pops there. The maid. And the butler figured them out or something. I'm just worried that I'm going to get cold feet when it comes to role-playing. Don't worry about that. It's okay to be scared. For a game like this, where I'm also not very sure of myself, it's possible I might instead sit down and record with it. That's okay. Role-playing games involve you trusting the people around you. At least a little.
Miles, my boy, I can't thank you enough. It was nothing. Well, I'm still in shock over what happened to Oliver. But I have to say I'm relieved that Lance is all right. Oh, that's right. I mustn't forget to pass this on to Lance as soon as the police are finished with him. A letter? The way Lance is being chased after by women reminds me of someone I know. I almost can't believe he received yet another love letter, you know. Here, take a look for yourself. Isn't this a breach of confidentiality?
My dear Lansamano, may I come see you again, your beloved Viola?
Tender Lender Loan Company. Oh. It's a very simple love letter.
Oh, hey, let me see. Yeah, that's really weird. It's from a loan company, Tender Lender. Looks more like a collection bill to me.
Do you think maybe Lance is poor? And trying to get $1 million to pay off some kind of debt, like a gambling debt or something?
Do you think maybe he never was kidnapped in the first place?
Definitely isn't a creepy looking letter.
Yeah, not even a little bit. It's not even weird.
Alright, honey.
He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me not. Ah, that's the 12th one. No, you can't give up, Lauren. Just one more try.
Excuse me, but I can't help but feel a bit sorry for all the flowers you've gone through.
I suppose. If they were me, then...
I believe you said that you were Lance's girlfriend when we first met, correct?
Yes, I am, but... Oh, it's not like we both think of each other as lovers. But he did give me this ring, so I guess we're not just friends either. I mean, because this isn't just any ordinary ring. It tastes so sweet when you lick it. Ah, it's so wonderful.
You mean to tell me that he gave you a lollipop ring?
So which is it? Have you guys not decided if you're going out, or is it just one-sided?
Decided? Shouldn't the parties involved naturally just know?
My father used to work for Mr. Amano, and so Lance and I grew up together. I said it out loud.
I don't see how that's anything to be embarrassed about.
So it's a ring pop. Yes, it is, but ring pop is trademarked.
So your father was an employee of the Amano group. What did he do?
I heard his job was to fly around the world on Pegasus.
Pegasus?
Oh, Pegasus was the name of the airplane. The airplane belonged to the company. You had me there for a second. But now it's all changed. My father, he isn't around anymore.
Oh,
I see. About 10 years ago, he rode in Pegasus off to somewhere and never returned.
Riding Pegasus to whereabouts unknown. Sounds like the stuff legends are made of.
It's been so long, I don't think I'd recognize him if we were to ever meet again. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lauren. But I won't give in to the sadness. I have to live. Yes, Lauren, live!
About this incident.
Incident? But isn't the kidnapping already over and dealt with? I've been here the whole time, so I'm afraid I don't know much about any other incident.
How did you come to know that Lance had been kidnapped?
Oh, that's because of my woman's intuition.
You based everything on that.
I know everything when it comes to my Lance. It's really strange. It really must be destiny.
Blush.
Arg, she started fantasizing again. So, what are you going to do now, Mr. Edgeworth?
We already established that there's a good chance that the killer is the other kidnapper. It's my duty to figure out who this other person is. I believe there is one location that might hold a clue or two. The place where we were held as prisoners.
Hold it! Don't let me in with you! I can't allow you to slander my good name as the great thief by saying I was captured.
Not being able to escape from somewhere qualifies you as a caged bird, Kay.
Besides, we checked that place out pretty well while we were there, remember? Don't you think it'd be an even better idea to check somewhere else? I was tapping A and didn't realize. Well, yeah, the kidnapper's hideout.
The obvious location is the kidnapper's hideout.
But we're still not allowed in, remember?
Agent Lang and his men should be done with this area. In that case, there's no harm in asking if that officer out there will let us in. What do you have to report? Sir! Nothing unusual or out of the ordinary, sir! Where have I heard such redundancy before? Is it possible for you to let us take a look around inside?
Sir! Roger, sir!
That was surprisingly hassle-free. Are you certain? Didn't Agent Lang order you not to allow me in?
Sir! That's true, sir, but Detective Gumshoe asked me personally to let you in, sir, and I couldn't refuse a request from him. Wow, looks like Detective Gumshoe has a following. Furthermore, I was asked to give you this document to you, sir.
What is this? The man in this picture. Isn't that Mr. Oliver Deacon?
Colin Deveray, male, dominant hand, right, height 5'8", weight 123.45 pounds. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gummy! I want gummies now, and I don't have any. I have Dunkaroos. I mean, I don't have them right here, but I do have them. I want gummy frogs.
Whereabouts unknown after his escape from
Pen E. Dent Prison. Penitent. From Penitent Prison. Oh no, stole a gun from a guard during his escape. We thought he might head for where his wife and sole daughter are, but despite our surveillance, he has yet to show up. I know, right? Gummy frogs are amazing. I want the green gummy frogs. Gummy sharks are also delicious, but the green gummy frogs are green apple flavored, and as we all know, sour green apple is the most perfect flavor to ever exist. There are 0 other flavors that compare to sour green apple, the best one! But the name here says Colin Deveray.
That's the same name as the one on the back of the pendant. It appears that Colin Deveray was his real name. What's this? He was convicted in a case 10 years ago and sent to prison.
What? Then what's he doing here?
Apparently, he broke out of jail and then just vanished. He must have become Oliver Deacon to cover up the fact that he was an escaped felon.
Well, now I'm not sure what's going on anymore.
Is there some sort of link between the victim's past and his current case? These police documents are rather detailed. I should take the time to give them a thorough read eventually. It's fine. Let's focus on the one thing at a time, starting with the kidnapper's hideout.
Yeah, I agree. We should investigate first, think later.
More than thinking things through, I think you should try remembering things first. Now then, if you could please unlock the door, officer.
Well, it was locked up until a little while ago, but since then the door's been wide open, sir.
I'm not sure I follow what it is you're saying. Care to explain in a bit more detail?
Sir, the door was locked down tight when we went to check out that room. So they got about 10 officers to help and break down the door, sir.
I see. I guess that means I get Agent Lang's leftovers. Well, let's see what we find.
I just want gummies to chew on because I like chewing on things. I got this little tiny beak. Yum, yum, yum. Got this little tiny beak. And so one gummy goes on forever. Because it's so gummy. Good news. Did you get gummy sharks? Is there food for you to eat? Your mom might be getting you gummy bears or gummy worms on your way home. Oh, boy. Oh, it's awfully late to be coming home from somewhere. Oh, she's currently taking my sister back to college. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that's not unfair. Oh, I want gummies now. I wish I had gummies. Should have started with that, lol. I was worried that someone was working your mom like staff works me. They're so mean. They're like, you only sleep an hour a night. You can work for 10 hours a day. And I go, no! That's too many hours. It's too many. Blah. I'll drop some in the tank. Yay!
So, this is where the kidnappers planned their foul deed.
Well, you were tied up for a while in the room next door.
Okay, please, must you bring that up again?
I would like to bring that up again several times. That's for a fan fiction. For later. Oh my goodness. Fier, stop being thirsty. Never! Listen. 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 Sometimes you have to tie a man up in order to give him a lot of existential dread and angst. Anyway, I'm gonna hydrate anyways. Why else would we tie that man up? Gotta give him the existential dread of being trapped in a situation he can't get out of. Maybe an earthquake for good measure. For funsies. The horrors. Subject him to the horrors. And then force it. No! That's a different thing. I would never do that to Edgeworth. He doesn't have magic science goop that'll put it back on.
Now then, down to business. There might still be some clues left in this room. Let's try to find out what we can from the other kidnapper's identity.
Sorry, Fier, I had to. You know me. I do.
This must be where they dispose of old and worn-out costumes.
That's so sad.
It would seem that they throw the costumes away in pieces.
There are 3 cups here.
I wonder what this key is to.
You got me.
It reminds me of the key we found in the other room.
That's it. This must be the key for one of those trapdoors.
That wasn't a trapdoor. You only call it one because you quite literally jumped into it.
But hey, isn't that what you're supposed to do when you see one?
I am not having this conversation with you.
There are 3 cups here.
Cheap styrofoam cups.
Looks like there are, only 3 cups were used. And the coffee looks like it was poured today. I knew it! Lance did not kidnap himself.
Folding chairs, and by the looks of it, they were probably used by the kidnappers.
There are 3 chairs set around the table.
A poster of Gatewaterland is stuck on this wall. Intrigue, fun, prestige. Gatewaterland has it all, and it's waiting for you. It's not especially catchy, is it?
Okay, I think we got that. Well, watch out, Mr. Edgeworth!
It's a broken mirror. It probably came from the haunted house. Why is this here? Are they planning to repair it? A sign advertising the photo rally. Something I have absolutely no interest in.
Yeah, but I do! And I'm gonna get my hands on the rest of the Badger family. You'll see!
She definitely brings a decidedly different atmosphere to a criminal investigation.
Kay looks like a Pokemon trainer, actually. Now that I'm looking at her, she looks like a gym leader or something. Like, she should have Klefki in her team. Ooh, there's also 3 key hooks, you're right. There's 3 of a lot of things in here. Ooh, they have barrels like these just outside.
Yes, and?
Well, I know I already asked you when we were out there, but if these were real, what would you put in them? Fier, can I be a Pokemon gym leader? Yes. I think you would have a team of pink Pokemon. You would have, like, Tinkaton and Chansey. You would definitely have Chansey and Odino. And I know it's not pink, but you'd probably also have a Meowstic. Let's see. Chansey, Odino, Meowstic. Tinkaton. Mm. Bear with me. A weirdly buff Jigglypuff. And like... probably a Morlo. No, Hatena. Hatterene, rather. Alternatively, I think you might have an entire team of helping Pokemon. Like Chansey and Odino, and Almamola, and stuff like that. Because those are all Pokemon that are said to help people when they're in trouble. And one of the dog Pokemon that leads you down from the mountain, stuff like that. But also, like, for no reason, a Zoroa. For no reason. I know what my Pokemon team would be. You'd think it would all be water Pokemon, but I prefer a much more balanced. Porygon also is pink in technology. That's true. I feel like Porygon and Ditto would also fit in on a team very well with you, depending on what you were trying, like what you wanted to communicate about yourself using your Pokemon team. Because Pokemon teams say a lot about their trainer. That's just how it is. Yeah. Yeah! So, like, I have 2 Pokemon trainers. One from the very beginning and one that I made because Black 2 and White 2 expressly are not the same person. And are, in fact, somebody following along. So with Black 2 and White 2, I had to make a second trainer. So I did. And her team is very different than the team for my very first one. My very first one started out with Squirtle, but eventually a Blastoise. And all Kanto Pokemon. And eventually she got, because she'd been quite a lot of places, she got a lot of different weird Pokemon. And now her ace Pokemon is Giratina. Her best friend and buddy. Giratina, she's best buds with. As she continuously puts it, she continuously calls him my buddy. So anytime she's introducing, like, anytime she's explaining things or having a Pokemon battle, she's just like, look, just trust me, you're gonna be fine up until I get my buddy out. That's when you know I've got serious, when my buddy comes to help. And people are like, another Pokemon trainer? And then she just pulls out a legendary? A ghost dragon. The embodiment of antimatter. And is like, yeah, he's my pal. We're best friends. Why? You good? And then proceeds to sweep their entire team with this monster. Usually. This level 100 Giratina holding an adamant orb. Or not adamant orb. I think it might be an origin orb. Whatever. Just rocks up and is like, see ya.
There's an expectant gleam in her eyes that I'm about to dash.
Nothing! That's what Edgeworth would put in there.
Unused folding chairs lean against the wall in their folded state.
Wow, whoever lined these up did it perfectly. There's not even a single hair off. I'd feel bad for using these because it'd be like stealing the perfection away.
I suspect it's more like you wouldn't want to be the one to put them away.
Hey, there's a trapdoor in this room too.
It's not a trapdoor. It's an entrance to the underground passage, Kay.
I know that.
The door leading to the outside world was locked, so Lance must have escaped his prison through here. This door is thoroughly broken thanks to the police who forced it open.
That's straight up a sword. Looks like a sword. A broken sword.
Strange. Why would it be broken like that?
'Cause it was holding the door shut.
Swords don't usually break on their own.
That's true.
Alright then, let's think about it this way. Maybe it broke when someone was trying to use it for or on something. Hypotheticals aren't going to get us anywhere. Perhaps we should think more on this later.
That doorknob handle thingy is looking pretty beat up.
I suppose that's what happens when 10 officers break their way in with brute force.
Hey, that's odd. The lock on this is completely fine. Look, not a single dent.
But how is that possible after what the officer told us?
Yeah, if that lock had been in use when the door was busted down, then the lock itself should be completely wrecked.
So the lock on the door leading to the outside is undamaged. How can that be?
I enjoy your ramblings a lot. It's similar to how Nico streams, and it's very silly. I'm glad. I get distracted quite often. Afe is another streamer who also gets distracted like I do and just suddenly, like, ramble. Oh, it's a delight. I love going to play Guild Wars 2 with people because I can play that game in my sleep. And I have. I did once. Okay, so story time. I was really tired one night, but we were going to do the Flame Legion dungeon anyway. So we're up there for Citadel of Flame, and it took about 60 years to break in. And it was so sad. And I was on one of my necromancers. I have too many necromancers. I've got like 9 of them. I do not need 9 necromancers, but just build templates weren't a thing yet, so I had to do something. So I'm up there with Manzania, and we're breaking into this place, and we finally break in, and I was so tired because I hadn't slept for like a day or 2. No, I think it was more like a day, and I was just very eepy. And so we walk in, and apparently, according to Hoogie and Mint, because we were in voice, I was really quiet, and periodically someone would say something really loud, or something really loud would happen on screen. I'd wake up just enough, like, press all my rotation buttons, and then just be gone again. That's a lot of necromancers. I have too many necromancers. There was a time before build templates where I needed so many necromancers to keep track of my builds.
That panel that hid the entrance to the underground is propped up and wide open. Be careful where you step, Kay.
I only fell into that other opening once, you know?
And once was enough.
That is a line from the Percy Jackson musical. It is from, the campfire song, where they're all singing about their godly parents.
Beyond this door is where the kidnappers
held you after getting the jump on you.
Must you keep reminding me?
But it's the room where I got to see your awesome no face.
You didn't need to remind me of that mortifying moment either.
Didn't we? Okay, let's logic some stuff out. Let's logic this out. I am sure that that fits together to make us say there's 3 kidnappers. Yes! Percy Jackson's amazing! Val, it is the perfect thing for you. It's 10 out of 10. You ever wanted the best character? You're already into Epic. So, like, you are going to be thrilled to have Percy Jackson. I'll get you some of the songs from the musical if you haven't heard them already. Campfire Song's my favorite because it's just their mom, them talking about, like, their godly parents. Let's see if I can remember any of the verses. When your parents run the universe.
My mom's Demeter, goddess of grain. She gets excited when it starts to rain. But planting and planting and planting's a pain. Oh no. For their 16th birthday, my friends got a car. I got a fern in some dumb mason jar. Whoa, things couldn't be worse when your parents run the universe. Oh, things couldn't be worse when your parents run the universe. And it goes on like that. Like, they're all like that. I also don't have the cabin numbers memorized. Percy Jackson is a series that I really like. It is not one that I got so far into that I memorized all those things. Mint did loved it, and I'm thrilled for that. I liked it a lot anyway. It was a ton of fun. I'll get to the campfire song, Val. That absolutely sells it. Like, the whole musical. The campfire song and the other one that I don't always remember the name of, but I will send it to you anyway because it is absolutely hilarious. And it's about how much school is bad. The common denominator between the cups and folding chairs is the number 3. Speaking of which, the number of missing costumes is also 3.
Wait, but I thought there were only 2 kidnappers.
Indeed. Something isn't adding up. Literally. Is it possible that there is a 3rd kidnapper that Lance didn't see?
Can I connect these? Please connect. This feels like the thing that should connect.
It's a bit strange that the police had to force their way into an unlocked room. One look at the pristine door lock and anyone can see that it was not in use at the time.
But that policeman outside said it took 10 men to get it open.
A door that was locked tight despite it being not locked at all. It can only be because of this.
Oh, you mean...
Yes. It was used to jam the door. Here, take a look at the door handle. Do you see how that handle is completely destroyed?
So that's how the sword broke.
I thought that we might uncover the true identity of the kidnappers, but instead we've only uncovered more questions that need to be answered.
Ah! Guys, Proto Badger scares me every time. I think 6 is Athena and 10 is Aphrodite. I 100% don't know the cabin numbers, but I am 90% certain. And you'd think I'd be a Poseidon kid. You'd think I would be, because I am an octopus. But I am here for vengeance. Aries. Exactly. Frontline mentality. I got my roller out. Did you know people are finally pushing Splat Roller. And I'm so proud. I couldn't do it myself, but I was just there like, no, guys, the base roller is amazing. I can't push it well enough myself. But it's getting into S+ in people's opinions. Like, of what's good. Speaking of frontline mentality. And I'm so happy. I couldn't push it all by myself, but I've been saying since Splatoon 3 came out that it's good, that it's really, really good. You guys, just trust me. Trust. And it is. I mean Flingza, so close enough. Exactly, Flingza's also amazing. I mean Enzap. Yes, Val is a support. Val one-tricked Mzap and is really good with it. Ah!
What is it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, am I correct? What are you doing suddenly popping out of a secret entrance like that? This is an underground passage used by staff members, sir. We Badgers also make use of it in our duties.
Look, why don't you get out there first and then we'll talk, okay? Get out of there first and then we'll talk, okay?
I beg your pardon, miss.
Proto Badger, get! Alright, only one more to go.
What are you getting all excited about?
Did you forget? The photo rally, duh! See, look! Now all I have to do is get a picture of the bad badger and I'm done.
Ah, yes, I vaguely recall a contest or something of that sort.
What? It's gone! But where did it go?
What happened? What's wrong?
A Bad Badger costume is missing, sir. Oh! Is that all? Well, it's missing because the kidnappers stole it.
I heard about how they were stolen, but they said that only 3 of the costumes had been taken. What? Is he saying that more than 3 of them are gone? Mr. Proto-Badger, please tell me a little more about these costumes you use. What did you mean by a Bad Badger costume is missing?
Why, just what I said, sir. We are 1 Bad Badger short. Counting the spares, we have 2 of each costume on hand at all times.
Okay,
So, because one of them is walking around in this park...
the other should be in that room.
Actually, both of them should be in that room. Huh? What do you mean?
Normally, we don't use the Bad Badger costumes. In fact, we only use them during a certain event at a set time each day. It's the stage show where the Bad Badger wreaks havoc around the park. And the other badgers must work together to apprehend him, sir. I'm speechless that such a show exists.
Well, sir, I was just trying to explain to you that the only time we use that costume. Then doesn't that make it near impossible to take a picture with the Bad Badger?
Personally, I can't believe that it's this close to showtime and there's no costume.
Oh dear, what am I to do, sir?
All this basically means is that the kidnappers stole 4 costumes in total.
Then are you saying that there are 4 kidnappers?
No, I don't think that's very likely.
Oh?
Recall the costumes for a moment.
The stolen ones, you mean? What proves that a 4th kidnapper does not exist?
Is it that the girl badger costume's still here?
Ooh! I think 6 fits you most. I know you don't like that 6 fits you most, but I think 6 fits you most. 'Cause 10 is Aphrodite, right? I understand how you think of Aphrodite, but how the game thinks, or how the series thinks of Aphrodite is very different, and I don't think you fit that mold very well. You are not out there, you are not out there, a seductress leaving broken hearts behind you all the way. You'll find when you meet we meet an Athena kid as a main character. You will find when you meet that Athena kid as our main character Athena kid that you probably will gel quite well with her. Yeah, Aphrodite kind of sucks all around. Not completely. The Percy Jackson Aphrodite is alright. Going through boxes and unpacking board games. Just found the case for my copy of Bravely Second. Yay! We're going to play Bravely Second as well. Just you wait. I might leave a little time between Bravely Default and Bravely Second. I love Bravely Second, don't get me wrong, but I might leave a little time between them. Because there was a little time between their releases, too. So I want to leave you guys time to sit with the story of Bravely Default before I bust out Bravely Second. Anyway, I think it's that there's a girl costume.
If you had 4 people and you had wanted to steal a 4th costume, wouldn't you naturally go for the full set and steal a pink badger costume instead?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And yet, the kidnappers decided to steal another bad badger. I believe the culprits needed 2 bad badger costumes, but the question is why?
I think I know right away. I know where it is. The bad badger costume was shot.
The second bad badger costume. I believe it may be closer at hand than we think.
What do you mean?
That costume in the trash. Wouldn't you say it's wearing some very telltale pants?
Hey, you're right! Let's get it out of there and take a look!
As I suspected, it's a bad badger costume.
Well, minus the head. Look, its hand is hurt.
Mm-hmm. It looks more like something was ripped off of it. I wonder why this bad badger costume's right hand is torn up like that.
Maybe it's a flesh wound from a fight with the blue badger. I always knew the blue badger was one ferocious beast.
I somehow doubt that even real badgers are as bloodthirsty as that, Kay.
Oh, Edgeworth, honey, you don't know what real badgers are like if you doubt that they're as bloodthirsty. That's gotta be what's connected.
Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold?
Yeah, it is. He has a gun. Right?
I believe what we have here is an inconsistency.
Between what?
Look carefully. Our costume is not holding something in its right hand that it should be.
Val, you don't have to be the smartest person ever. You are a walking wiki. Athena's cabin is the place for you. Well, no, you don't. But we love Pink Badger in this channel. We do. She's not helpful here. But we love her. She didn't do crime. Note her unique pink bow. Oh, the gun.
Precisely. The bad badger was designed to hold a gun in his right hand.
Hi, Hooji. Also.
However, you there, did you remove the gun from this badger's right hand?
No, I did not, sir.
The gun is supposed to be securely attached to the costume. As I thought, the rip itself confirms my hypothesis that the gun was forcibly removed. Mr. Proto-Badger, the gun is, of course, not a functioning weapon, correct?
Absolutely not, sir.
It's just a model gun. However, it can fire blanks. We need to use them for the stage show. It seems that our kidnappers also had the need for the model gun, my dear costume friend. I think we're about done with this room.
So what's next?
Well, we found a few answers. But there are still a few things left that we have to ask a certain person about. Let's go, Kay.
Mr. Edgeworth, sir! You gotta hurry, sir. Come on!
What is it, Detective?
They found a blue badger costume down in front of the main gate, sir.
What?
Is that the one of the kidnappers was wearing? Bingo! That's why you gotta come to the main gate with me right now. If we hurry, we might still be able to get there before Wolf Boy does, sir.
Alright, let's make haste to the main gate.
Run for it, Edgeworth! Yes. Oh, we are whipping right along. I did stop to ramble for like half an hour at the start of this, but we are whipping right along. Oh, fair. Yes.
Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe?
Just on the other side of the fountain, sir. Was it out here in the open all along?
No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there.
We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly.
Then let's get down to it.
I mean, the obvious thing is that necklace.
This headpiece. This must be the Blue Badger officer Meekins crossed paths with.
Ooh, the nerve of someone throwing the Blue Badger away like this. I worked so hard to create this character. It's like my baby. How could someone do this, sir? How?
Detective, how about channeling your anger towards finding the culprits?
Good idea. Oh, wait until I get my hands on... So who are they, Mr. Edgeworth?
Why don't you try figuring it out yourself for a change?
It's the Blue Badger body section. What a waste.
How so?
Going through all the trouble to steal this costume only to throw it away in the end. A real thief wouldn't do such a thing. Nope, no way.
I wouldn't think a real thief would steal something so gaudy to begin with. What do we have here?
Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too.
Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon? Is it possible that these two...
Hold it right there.
Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? A pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read off what you see.
Lauren. Hey, it's a name that's engraved on this. Ms. Pop's pendant jotted down in my organizer. Welcome in, sheepy! A sheep has wandered into my stream. Hello? Hello?
Aha! We have you now, Ms. Kidnapper.
No, you don't understand.
Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers.
Lance! You're kidding. Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers? Yes. It was me. I held Lance hostage.
So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over. Hey, guys, case closed. Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for this young lady. Ha! Again, Mr. Prosecutor. What is it this time? Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. We found it. Found what? That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are.
Who you calling a sham?
The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon. So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges. I see. And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor?
Edgeworth did do that thing that he said. Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it.
Thanks for the confession. Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed. Look at you, so sure of yourself. We've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Miss Lauren Pops.
Yes? It's funny how Sheep shows up when Mr. Wolfman shows up. It's true.
I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder.
But why? I'm a kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough? Oh no! I love her breakdown. For those of you that don't know, this breakdown with the scissors, girls when they break up with their boyfriends, or go through like a major life change, like a bad life change, will often cut their hair. That's a very Japan thing to put in here. I suppose it's true in other places, but it's especially true in Japan. It's just shorthand for that.
It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't? I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mutt. Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today.
She did so much villainy. The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
I don't think any of that's true. There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much. Miss Pops, is what you said really the truth?
Yes, it is.
If that's the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth, because there's something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession.
There is! I can almost guarantee that she is,
Mr. Deacon, or Colin Deveray's daughter.
Like, almost 100% guarantee that's what happened. Yeah. That her dad used to fly the Pegasus. Because, like, the wings and the horse, that's like a friendship pendant. It's almost certainly one of those friendship pendants that fits together. Alright, dehydrated as chat demands. And a big stretch. Big stretch. A friendship pendant? Have you never had one before? They even make like 3 ones now, where there's like 3 little pendant guys. Oh, terrible. We shall rectify this situation as immediately as possible. Okay. And for body break... For body break, I'm eepy, but I am still gonna do some arm circles. But with the weights in the hands this time. I'd like to see you try. Making friends is hard. Oh, that's only partially true. The thing about making friends is it's tough sometimes, but it gets easier. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that is much harder than I expected. It is absolutely a learned skill. Making friends is a thing that you learn how to do. I will tell you the secret trick that I use. And the one I find that works best. People making friends when you're you're autistic and the weird kid is virtually impossible. I understand. It gets easier. Don't worry. I will tell you this right now. People like to talk about themselves and their interests. Especially when you're younger in like high school and stuff. The thing that you want to do with your friends is tell them all about the cool thing that you're into and it's really exciting and you really like it and you really want to tell them the thing. And you got to tell them all about it, and you're so excited, and they'll obviously be excited, and you'll be like, Blurg, I got to tell you the whole thing. But the thing is that all of you are like that kind of thing. Everyone in your class, everyone, like, that's about in that age group is like, everyone that's about in that age group is like, oh, I want to tell you all about the cool thing. Because they're looking for validation. They're looking for someone to say, that is a cool thing. I really like that thing too. To have an in-group. So, the trick that I use is simple. If somebody goes, this is this really cool thing and I really like it and I'm really excited about it, instead of like basically waiting your turn to say about the cool thing that you also like, instead what you do, and this is paramount that you actually put some like thought behind it sometimes, is that you stop and you go, wow, that sounds like you're really excited about cool thing. And then you ask relevant questions about the thing you just heard. So, like, for instance, you're really excited about the game that I insist on calling Dandy and the Ink Machine Security Breach. Because that's what it kind of is. And I don't play Roblox. And I like making the joke about it. But at the same time, if you think back on it, you'll note that sometimes you're like, I really like this character. They're really cool, and I like them, and they do cool stuff. You'll also note that my response to that wasn't to tell you about an unrelated thing that I also like, but was instead, wow, that sounds really fun. Are they a support? Because you like playing supports. And that's how you carry that conversation on. Because then you can fill in with, yeah, how did you know he's a support? Or you can fill in with, yeah, he is. This is how his support stuff works. And then I go, oh, neat. And then you get to talk, and then potentially I'll ask you more questions about the thing that you're excited about that are relevant to the thing that you just said. Or I'll ask you, like, other things that are sort of related to your other interests that I know you have. Things like, oh, wow, that sounds really fun. Have you drawn him yet? And you'll be able to do things like, yeah, I did. I've got art of him and everything. And then I'll be able to go, yeah, that's really cool. And then what happens is two things. Thing one, you get to talk about the interests that you like. That I may not share, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if I share your interest. You get to talk about the thing that you like. The second thing that happens in doing that is sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, if you're doing something like this, you can gently guide a person into an interest that you both share. So, like, saying something like, hey, that's really cool. Have you drawn him yet? And then you get on talking about art, because that's a thing that you also really like. And I also really like art, even though I draw pixel art and not usually traditionally. Then we're on a topic that we both enjoy, you see? And it's subtle how it's done, but that's kind of the trick to it. And that is a very, very long and very still somehow incredibly basic thing that I do that makes it easier to make friends with people. Because people love talking about the thing that they like, and they especially love when you engage with the thing that they like. It could be multiple things, of course. Right. Even earlier, I was like, I see you posted a picture in chat, and we're like, this guy, he's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with him. And I'm like, you're twink sitting again. Because you've made that joke. You've explained that joke to me about that weird mirror man. I don't know who he is. I've never done the job you're talking about, but you've explained it and described it. See? Jots notes down. Yes! Good! I am here to help. But yeah, no, that was a learned skill for me because I'm very extroverted and very self-centered. So sometimes when I'm talking to people, I forget that I'm talking to people and not just an audience. That's why Twitch is so good for me, because it's an audience. That's not true. I mean, it's kind of true. But it's different. It's different than having a one-on-one conversation with a friend. Val, you are not self-centered in the way that you think you are. Alright. Yeah, you are self-centered in a way where you will, but I always talk about myself. That is not true. That is not true at all. We do not deal in absolutes. It is a teenager's purview to deal in absolutes. And a Sith. Of course. I make that joke. Everyone actually does deal in absolutes. Or they try not to, but they do. Then why have I been told so many times that I am self-centered? Because people don't like some of the things that you're doing. If someone doesn't like what you're doing, they'll tell you you're being so selfish and self-centered right now. Why can't you just behave normally? Why do you have to make everything about you? That person isn't saying that you're self-centered. That person is saying that they find it inconvenient, that they find whatever you're doing inconvenient or embarrassing. And it's upsetting them. So they are lashing out because they're hurt. That's what's going on in that situation. 9 times out of 10. I will say, anytime I tell you that's what's going on in that situation, chat, this goes for all of you. Anytime I tell you that's what's happening in that situation, or this is how this works, take that with a grain of salt, because it's not true for everybody, but it's generally true. The things that I describe are generally true. They will not be true of every person. Some people will recognize what you're up to. And they'll be like, Like, you know how if you're a salesman on the internet and you're on the internet or on the phone or something, and if you called up and got another salesman, that person might be like, all right, I get what you're up to. Trying to create a false sense of urgency, huh? And, you know, if you're on the other line, you're like, oh, fellow professional. Like how a magician can see through another magician's tricks quite often. So yeah, take that stuff with a grain of salt, but like, it's general advice. Anyways, back to the game. I forgot I was playing the game again, you guys. Mrs. Stop to give you all life advice. Oh no. I think we've been over this before. The squid school we have at home. Even if I'm not playing the funny squid game. Not my fault I have to twinks at him. Someone has to, it's true. Okay, back to Mrs. Pop's confession. There's definitely something here. There's definitely something here. Okay, let's start with the assumption that Deacon is her father. Let's start with that. I'm just going to go with it. So her last name would be, so she'd be Lauren Deveray. Also, I love that he calls her Lolly. Lollipops. That's too cute. Okay, those are all true facts, but I think we just need to, I want to know more about this, because I think maybe she'll say something that we can use, hopefully. Maybe she'll admit that this is her dad. Because I think I'm a little ahead of the game again. You know how sometimes you get ahead of the game? I think I am this time ahead of the game.
Why do you think he did?
I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning. Oh, Miss Pops.
Wait, Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the very beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely.
Huh?
I don't think Mr. Deacon would ever have been capable of killing you.
But why? We were total strangers. It's not uncommon for people to kill each other over money.
Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you?
Well, what do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops.
Is it the horse? I hope it's the horse. I sure hope it's this horse. Because, like, that goes with the wings. Why are you showing this to me?
So what about the pendant? This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are. These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree?
Hey, you're right. They're the same color, and they're even made of the same material.
I believe that these two pendants are actually one.
Ah!
Shall we give it a try?
Wow, it's totally Pegasus. But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
What? No, that can't be.
So the two make a set. It's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything. You lack imagination, Agent Lang. Very well, I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant.
Oh, almost certainly the dossier on Devereux.
Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Devereux, the name that is etched on that horse pendant.
What? An alias?
I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense, given what is written on Mr. Devereux's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning of the pendant. Mr. Devereux had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops.
That's a lie! That person was not my father!
He couldn't have come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? Ha 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 ha! And what's so funny, Agent Lang? You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you? What are you trying to say? Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well?
No.
So, this is a version of how things might have been. You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right?
You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter?
That's right, as one really rotten family. Is that really what happened? I'd better take a long, hard look at the evidence.
And I will! Okay, sure. There's 3 kidnappers. No, I wouldn't. I'm trying to figure out where to present it. I guess here. Where are my coffee cups at? Oh well, I guess this'll have to do.
This kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone.
Well, that's the thing. Fear has no clue what's going on in Dandy and the Ink Machine security breach, but she's excited that I'm excited. That's true. Thing is, sometimes people around you are excited about a thing that you have 0 interest in, but you get excited because they're excited. And that's that's okay. You'll find interest in the thing because they're interested in it. I don't know how to explain this very well, but the thing is that when you care about someone, you start to care about the interest that they have because it makes them happy, and you care about that person being happy. For instance, one of the reasons that I started drawing using traditional mediums, like pencils and stuff, when normally I only do pixel art, one of the reasons I started trying to use traditional mediums and more traditional digital art, even though I am terrible at it, oh my golly, is because Mint does that, and he gets really excited to do that. So that's one of the reasons that I got into doing that. I suppose when I say I'm terrible at it, what I mean is I take a million years to do the same thing that he can do in like 10 minutes. That's what I mean. That it takes me a long time to do the same thing because I don't have a lot of practice at it. On the other hand, if Mint sat down to crochet, I don't think he'd get very far. But like, Mint will ask me to make him things out of crochet because he knows I'm really excited about it. So, he has, this is a long story. There's a character that routinely gets turned into a dog in fanfiction in one of the things that he likes reading. And so he asked me for dog form. So I made dog form. Out of that fluffy black eyelash yarn that's super, super soft. So I made that for him so it sits on his desk. It's stuff like that where your interests overlap. It's finding a million little ways to engage with other people's things that they like because they're excited and happy about it, and you like seeing them happy. Like, I really enjoy watching figure skating. I don't necessarily enjoy watching the same type of figure skating or figure skating for the same reasons as Mint does. I like exhibition skates because they're fun and exciting and they remind me of dance, but also it's just on ice. I like ice dance because it is dance, but it is on ice. Mint is here for things like someone's gonna do a quintuple something. Someone's gonna do it. So I've got all these things where, like, I used to be really into figure skating and really like it a lot. But I like when he's excited and happy about things. I don't play RTS, but I love the plot of StarCraft, so you better believe that I'm just there like, Hooji, what's going on? What? I don't necessarily understand how to play StarCraft except for I like the Zerg. I'm really good on the Zerg because I make a million little guys, and you take your life into your hands because I have a million little guys, and they're all a 1/1 little guy, but they are coming for you, and there's 600 of them, and good luck because I can make 600 more before you get through that batch. Nyah. Anyway. And yeah, you're right. Like, you play Guild Wars 2 with me. It's not because you initially were like, darn, this game is amazing. But you're still finding fun things about it, and you still do it because you're like, wow, this is actually fun to play. I don't think you'd play it if you were by yourself. I think this is a case of, so sometimes you are playing a game with friends, and sometimes you are with friends playing a game. I feel like this one definitely started out as being with friends playing a game, rather than playing a game with friends, which is where the game comes first. Anyway, right. I get so sidetracked when I'm playing games like this because you guys are so easily sidetrack me. But good. Maybe you should. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone. And what kind of proof do you have of that? Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers. 3? 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's backroom. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout, but as for the other 3, we can assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group, and I believe this 3rd person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping. It's definitely Lance. Who is this mastermind? I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping. It's definitely Lance. Like, almost 100%. It is definitely Lance.
Take that!
Lance Amano? Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us. Did you see the faces of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces, but two. One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said. But, I know I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Ah, yes. About when you were being held. I have my doubts about whether that happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore. Honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you?
Lance has Martin energy. His design has Martin energy. I can't explain what I mean, but he just does. Right in the face. I know, right? Like, this man would serve tea to his boss. If he had one.
I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. Through the underground passageway, I presume.
Are you okay?
Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet. How can you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes?
Because he's a prosecutor, and because they're all like that.
I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interrupted to be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There is a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. Right. Okay.
How did you... Tell me how you escaped.
How did you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape. I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined.
No, it wasn't. Sword. The door outside was sword. And the sword was on the inside. Like, sword. Where is sword?
You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really?
Sword! Yes, exactly! I love immediate breakdown. Perfect.
We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Sheena? Yes, that's correct.
Then take a look at this.
What is that, a sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by the sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not simply remove the sword and escape? Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it. As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That's why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive! What else? Do you honestly think that an uptight, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself? This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime.
Ooh, debt collection! Ooh, I bet it's debt collection! I bet it's debt collection!
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need. For money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is, in fact, a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance?
Ah! Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh?
All right, I give up. I abducted myself.
Lance!
It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that 1 million, but now that dream is over.
Oh, Lance!
Then you're giving yourself up? Yes. I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back! He turned on you? Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and kept him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the blue badger costume. That would mean the person Officer Meekins saw was Miss Popps. But right then, the old man had to wake up. I was careless, and he tackled me hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a bad badger costume, took the suitcase with the $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly.
I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father.
Lolly, then it really was you?
That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot, and the other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran, scared for my life.
Oh, baby. I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn out into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you.
Oh, you stop putting on that act. I am 100% certain Lance is not... Lolly didn't kill anybody, I think. I am 100% certain that she fired a blank. Almost certainly. Hmm. I know what's going on here. I think I know exactly what's going on here. I think what's going on here, I think Lance masterminded all of this to get away with that 1 million. I don't think he was ever planning on taking her with. So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was? Honestly, wouldn't be shocked. I know, right? If what she says is true. Are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve? You'd be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. I don't think she did anything wrong except get into a kidnapping plot.
Hold it.
Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yeah, I got a good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me? Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth?
I don't know.
To be fair, the other father-daughter relationship that he would be thinking of is Franziska von Karma and Manfred von Karma. So, to be fair, he doesn't know. I don't want to believe it myself. But it's true. My father's left arm was raised with a gun in it. Pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought.
Miss Pops! Please calm down and take a deep breath. And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time?
Yes, of course. But that badger pointed the gun in his left hand at me, aiming to shoot me dead.
Isn't Devray right-handed?
Yeah! This man's right-handed! They look so similar to each other when Kay and Edgy were crossing their arms. It's true. Did you know baby Franziska's in this game? When she's like 16? Baby Franziska's in this game. You guys are gonna be thrilled. Yeah, baby Edgeworth too. Not like baby, but like they're small. Smaller, younger, not adults yet.
I have here a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed.
Then...
The person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Bad Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand. Which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun with was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in a court to catch it. Enough with the smugness. Out with it already. Miss Pops told us earlier.
There was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it.
According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops?
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the Bad Badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face.
But if that's the case, can I even see... Even I can see there's a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong.
I mean, the costumes come in 2 pieces. I think maybe both are right, but... I think maybe both are right. It's just that she did see the Bad Badger. Both hands were full. Is this what I need to say to get them to, like, let me present? Yeah, okay.
They're both correct. Impossible! That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Miss Pop's entire statement rests on the fact that she saw sunglasses and a beard. But what if the Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands.
It's either the head or the gun being ripped off his hand.
Let's try the head. Try it first. We haven't used it for anything yet. The costumes have two parts to them, a head and a body.
Oh, I get it now.
The head Miss Pops saw was probably really the head of the Bad Badger. However, it's not possible that the body was that of an... is it not possible that the body was that of an entirely different badger? A different badger? Yes, or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger.
Proto, maybe?
Take that.
What? The heck is it?
It's the Proto Badger. Yes, and it's a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the blue badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink badger is of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that's left is the Proto Badger costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the Proto Badger costume?
That would be Lance.
Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the Bad Badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which he plotted to shoot Miss Pops while wearing that hideous thing? The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than that, a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Pops into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim, it was all done so that she would pull the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why exactly would I have to do all that, huh?
There's but one reason. Lance Amano, you are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon.
What? I love how his handcuffs come up and off and he catches them back on his wrists. No! That's slander! Take it back! You take it back right now!
Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand?
I'm left-handed, but what does that have to do with anything?
It depends. According to Miss Pops, her attacker held a gun in his left hand.
Ha! Who is what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the Proto Badger is bulletproof. One misfire, and he would have found himself dead, right?
Of course. Logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well, and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet.
Take that.
We found one half of a Bad Badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing, plus it was missing something. And that something was the model gun the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks.
What?
Miss Pops, where's the gun you use now?
I threw it away into the sea.
That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was, although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question.
I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture.
I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I'm right is very high.
Okay, let's pretend that you're right, and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor?
I don't know yet.
Ha! I knew you were full of it!
However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame.
Please, wait a second. It's simply not possible, because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance.
She saw the victim in the state of being restrained?
Cheese whiz, lady! I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape.
Wasn't that the room we were in? Wasn't that the room I was in? So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right?
We thought that it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone.
Oliver managed to escape. It looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole the gun from me at that time.
And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Ms. Pops saw the victim with her own eyes, which means that the victim was still alive at the time, wouldn't you agree?
Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it in more detail.
I mean, once again, we were the one tied up over there. It couldn't have been Oliver Deacon because it was us. Like, legit. Remember when we went in and we looked around and we saw the killer's hideout on the other side? And saw the open trap door? Like, legit. There's no way that it couldn't have been. We were the ones tied up. We should know. I came back to the hideout long after the other two. I need to know. That can't be him. I need to press this. I don't know how to say. Edgeworth should have stayed tied up, though. The angst potential is amazing. That's true.
You're sure that it was Mr. Deacon that you saw?
Yes, I'm certain of what I saw.
Did you go into the other room to check?
Lance said that it was best if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul.
Then are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself?
I checked through the slit in the door that separates the two rooms. He had a bad badger's hat on, so I'm absolutely sure. That just had to be Mr. Deacon.
She saw a bad badger head.
There was a bad badger head in that room. I mean, do I just... I mean, I guess I can present that to get us to talk about it, right? Like, let's go.
Ms. Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all.
Huh?
The person you actually saw was this person. It was me.
Uh-huh. The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth?
I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me even after I had handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the $1 million and ran. But in the end, there was a point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right?
That's...
You showed Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a bad badger's head on, and then made your costume escape together. Or so you pretended.
What do you mean he pretended?
Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the bad badger head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword. He then escaped via the passageway.
Oh no! Look at the way they're lined up there! Cuddles. He's a cuddle bug. He's a little scared. Allowed to be a little silly. I love that their sprites line up in this way, and I'm glad they lined them up in this way. There's a ship here. There's ship art right here. We don't even have to go anywhere. We did it. They did it. The game devs did it.
Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth.
Oh, no! Oh, he's straight up talking to Lance. Okay, done. We did it.
Tidal wave?
We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and his subsequent detainment, all of that could have happened while you were out cold.
That's right! You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor!
Even if that were the case, Miss Pops would still have seen me tied to that beam.
I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really have no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth.
You see? It would seem that you can't prove a thing. Who said that?
Hey, it's Mr. Amano!
Oh, please, wait. Mr. Amano. Ho, ho, ho. Miles, my boy. It looks like you're really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others.
Dad?
Let's see. You're the one in charge of the investigation, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you.
Oh? Do you know?
Is that what I think it is?
It's the Bad Badger costume the victim was wearing, and a gun.
I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea.
Ah. Is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law?
Oh, there. Now, Agent Lang, please calm down.
What the heck is that scrap of paper?
This appears to be a letter from the Chief of Police. Please allow Mr. Almano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
What? The Chief of Police? What the? Just who does he think he is?
The person who wields the highest authority in this area.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. There now. There's no need to be so upset. Huh. I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country. Now. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the laws of the land. I can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand, it doesn't matter who found the evidence. Its value remains unchanged. Right now, let's take a look at this new evidence.
Now, I've already got the results back. I had a special forensics research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests. They verified that the blood on the costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they couldn't find were yours, Lauren.
What?
You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence. With this, you'll have no reason left to push my poor boy around.
That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence? Ha! I'll be the judge of that. Oh no, Edgeworth! We're very close to the end of this case. I can feel it in my bones. Could this be the gun? Could this gun be the actual murder weapon? Oh, we don't get to examine the fake one? This bullet hole. It looks kind of burned out around the edges. Wait, those burn marks were left by the gunpowder.
This is a most important fact.
Why's that?
Because it's proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range.
Yes! Yes! Hey, there's something in there.
What's this? It looks like there's something inside the costume head.
Hey, they sparkle. I bet they're really valuable.
Sorry, but they're just pieces of a mirror. But why are they in here?
From the broken mirror. He was shot against that mirror.
Well, are these not the most definitive pieces of evidence you've ever seen?
Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince even Mr. Edgeworth over there.
Okay.
Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun. And they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life,
So, Mr. Edgeworth, even you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense.
I could fix him. No, you can't.
The fingerprints on the weapon, huh?
Oh, no. This isn't helpful at all.
Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly, but in the end, all I can do is watch as she takes the punishment for her crimes.
That may be all you can do. However, I still have a case to solve and a job to do. The job of unraveling your insidious lie.
You wound me. Why won't you believe me, even in the face of all this evidence?
Do, 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 do. Anyway, sorry. This is a delight. Okay.
Hold it!
Those fingerprints, are you sure they belong to Miss Pops? Oh, there's no mistake about it. Though through my connections, I had the best forensics techniques money can buy performed. I find that to be a bit peculiar.
What? Are you trying to pick an argument with me?
We raise an objection!
Frankly, I don't believe that Miss Pops' prints should be on that gun to begin with. And the reason why Miss Pops should not be on the gun is...
Well, they were in costume, weren't they?
Take that!
It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon. Because, while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume.
Huh?
Well, but there's been no mistake. We found fingerprints. Well, Miss Pops, do you remember touching the gun at all at any time?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house.
To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That's when Miss Pops' prints found their way onto the gun.
Ooh.
Do you understand now, Mr. Amano?
Edgeworth's out here ruining any political capital he ever had with this man to find the truth.
The fingerprints do nothing to prove that Miss Pops is the murderer. But you still don't have anything to prove she isn't the killer, right? You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer.
Oh, Lance. What? No way! I'm incredibly worried about her!
But that doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right? That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence.
What? How?
The story that Miss Pops killed the victim on stage in the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. Oh, thank goodness it just lets you examine stuff. Doesn't make you present it. Because what I actually need is... No.
That's what I need.
Take that!
Let us take another good look at the costume this victim was wearing. Then I believe you'll see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium.
See, fun fact about this is Amano could have left well enough alone and his kid would have gotten off scot-free.
Take that!
The burn around this bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range.
Ah, so then you mean that the murder Miss Oldbag saw at the stadium really was?
Yes, she saw two people, but they were separated by a distance. If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't be a gunpowder burn.
Yeah.
Ha! Look at you, Mr. Smarty-Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is, then? Lance set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. And the location where Lance and the victim were, just before I was imprisoned, was...
The haunted house!
I've got it. I know the real scene of the murder. The real location in which Mr. Deacon was killed is here.
Take that!
I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house. The haunted house? Yes, and I have the proof that it's highly likely the victim was killed there.
Oh, the glass in the glass in the hat! Darn it. Yeah!
These were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror. A mirror? And what does that have to do with anything? Indeed. You don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside a costume.
Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous.
However, there is one place I can think of where there is a plethora of mirror fragments. And that's the haunted house. Lansamano, I propose that you killed Mr. Deacon with the revolver in the haunted house. After that, you stole the Blue Badger-mobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the Blue Badger-mobile was stolen confirms this as a fact. Miles, my boy, say no more! I'm sorry, Mr. Amano, but I cannot do that. Be quiet! Yes, please, do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense. Ernest Amano, correct? I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps. How dare you?
What is this, Clue? Exactly!
I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence! And to call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Sheena! Wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout? Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror that is for the haunted house. You see, isn't it possible the fragments got into his costume there? But, Agent Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low. Probability? Ha 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 ha! Longji says, on truth's path, the word probability does not exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is, do you have the definitive proof you need?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you?
Oh, boy. Do I have solid evidence that proves the murder took place at the haunted house? The answer is no. See? So since you don't have any, shut up! I don't have the evidence yet, but I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At that time, the only people at the haunted house, besides myself, were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place in the haunted house, then I can prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder.
What now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Agent Lang, I have a special request. Yeah? I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house.
Why in the world are you asking a werewolf for his permission?
Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted. But you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that the truth be brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is. Sheena! I'm here. Put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately. Understood. I'll go get the Gatewater Group's approval. Who was that? Now. Let's hold on for a second. There's no need to obtain approval. Mr. Amano? Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this. What is this? Sheena? It's the deed to the haunted house. The deed? Read it out loud. Gatewaterland Inc. hereby bequeaths the property known as the Haunted House to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of $1 million paid in full in cash. What? Oh, as you can see, I'm now the legal owner of the haunted house.
Are you kidding? When did you...
I ran into the owner of the park earlier, and we made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in the blink of an eye. That $1 million you paid... Don't tell me it was... Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use for it, so you may have it back now.
You used the ransom money?
My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are, so if you would please discuss things with me from now on.
Discuss? What is there to discuss?
Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course.
While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us.
Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, you should hurry on home now my boy, before I really lose my temper. Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever.
We are sneaking into that haunted house. We are ruining any political capital we ever had with this man, and we are sneaking into that haunted house. But not this week. Because it's time! We are sneaking into that haunted house next week. That's a whole other section. Alright, and we hydrate as chat demands. And a big stretch. Ooh. Big stretch. Okay. We're going on a little adventure. Where will we go? Who knows? It's a mystery. Is it Sunday? It's probably Sunday. I don't know where we're going. So many people. Where are we going? Ooh, Subnautica. We're going to go see some Subnautica. Hopefully. Not everybody in my list of people that I follow is visitable. Yes! Let's go! It's an adventure! I love Subnautica. It's a spooky game about being a submarine. Let's go! Alright. That is it for tonight, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow for whatever I play tomorrow. Final Fantasy VI, probably. We'll go on a little fun adventure. It's going to be great. And then Tuesday is a double-length stream. You're going to have a fun time. It's going to be great. Let's go. All right, we are off to go see some Subnautica. Oops. I forgot. It's now closing time, and we hope you enjoyed your visit to the Octopus Enclosure. Bye!